You're listening to Tucson Business Radio X, and now with Josh Gruber, here's Weeding Out Business, a program that tells it like it is. If you want to be successful on Business Radio X, here's Josh.
Good afternoon. Josh Gruber here, Poppy Art Solutions, your host for Weeding Out Business. It's Thursday, April 4th, April Fool's Week. We've had a busy week. We have a cool guest in the show today named Robert Zuniga. We both have really awesome company names, so that's cool. I came up with mine on my own. I get it. You started on a little, something that had already begun, but it's a catchy name, Mosquito Squad.
Yes,
I just found out that you're from Tucson. I'm also from Tucson. I was born on Davis-Monthan Air Force Base.
Oh, okay.
In 87, so I guess they closed it a few years later, and there's not many of me existing, people born there.
Yeah. I was actually born on an Air Force base, too.
Really?
I was born at Luke Air Force Base in Glendale, and then
Nice.
Shortly after moved to Tucson.
That's cool. My wife was born on Air Force Base, too, in North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's, funny similarities, right? How often do you meet somebody that was born in Air Force Base?
Almost never.
So you and I, both from Tucson, in the pest control field. I think we don't really know each other that much. I remember seeing you at a Spray Tech, a seminar last year, and had seen the trucks around town, and didn't really think much of it at the time because I was still in the golf course business. But I think it's a really cool service. But obviously, people are wondering, well, how often do I need mosquito service? And I think that's kind of just your in to the plethora of services you offer, right?
Absolutely.
What does the bread and butter customer look like for you, Robert?
So the bread and butter customer is going to be...
corporately, but do you get a lot of leads from people on the internet?
Yeah, specifically because in this area here, there's not very many pest control companies that will treat for mosquitoes.
Right.
And there's many different reasons. They're much harder to control than crawling insects, and they may not have the specialization, whether it be training or the gear that's necessary to effectively control the mosquitoes. So when someone goes online and they search for how do I get rid of mosquitoes or what can I do with mosquitoes, that's where the SEO is going to come into play.
Right.
And they'll kind of be directed towards us, since
We'll relay those leads to you.
Right now, I haven't done much reaching out to other companies. This is only my second year, so that is something that I definitely know that I will be doing here in the near future. Building those relationships that we can assist and help each other out.
Yeah, I really tried my best to, pest control guys and see them at a red light. I'll just stop, roll my window down, and give them 5 business cards. Jobs like today, for example, we got a lead from somebody, and I honestly can't remember who he is. But I want to say thanks. I just don't remember who he is. He's a bug guy. And it was probably one of my first couple months where I was just like, I need to tell every single bug person in town to tell people about me.
Yep.
Unless their truck says bugs and weeds. And then I also want to meet them because I could probably get them products cheaper.
Yep.
That's one of the cool, I guess, companies, right, to get the products at really cheap.
Yep.
So, we've built friendships with a few landscapers in town that, they'll call me for, their product. Then next time when, Ewing or Home Depot, right, throwing out those corporate names, when they're all sold out because everybody's getting it, they'll probably call me,
Absolutely.
I'm curious, obviously, I'm from an agriculture field, golf courses, it always kind of interests me, like the business side of it. Like, where do you get your products from? How do you choose which products to buy? Did Mosquito Squad provide you with a list of things that they
power? Because there's now, I want to say, over 260 locations nationwide.
Right.
And so all of those locations are going to one spot, one manufacturer, and collectively we're purchasing a lot of products.
So they're willing to give you good prices.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
I don't want to know all your business, but is the price ratios a good margin?
Yes.
Based on what it costs to fill a tank and then how much you make per tank?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, that was one of the first things I thought about was if I'm going to buy a 100-gallon tank, how much does it cost to fill the tank? How much can we possibly make from spraying it? And how do you pay somebody less than 30% to do that?
Yep.
And it'll still be a good income, right? Not saying that it's 30% is bad, but let's face it here, we're making money trying to, and we've been able to, with the relation, am able to, reap the rewards,
Yep.
right? And still offer the service to the end customer at a very, relative rate as our competitors.
Yes.
But I might be getting it for a little bit less at the end, in the beginning of the show, right? So let's back up a little bit. Sometimes I get all excited. I get, you're a bug guy, I'm a weed guy. So you're from Tucson.
From Tucson,
But
yes.
you weren't born in Tucson, but you were raised in Tucson. Tell us about where you grew up and stuff.
Yep. So, like I said, I was born at Luke Air Force Base, and then shortly after, moved back to Tucson. My dad was in the Air Force, and shortly after I was born, retired, and been here ever since.
Right. Okay. So what high school did you go to?
I went to Immaculate Heart High School.
Okay.
So not very many people have heard of it. Not very many people know about it.
I've heard of it. That's awesome. Yeah. Did they have a golf team?
They did not.
I think they probably do now.
I think they
should.
did. They've expanded.
They have at least 35 graduates this year.
Yeah.
No, probably in the hundreds, I would imagine, right? It's a pretty big school now.
I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've been back there.
Is it Catholic school?
Yes.
Okay, right on. Cool, man. So you'd asked me before, right? How long have we been doing this? We've started the show about almost, 9 or 10 months ago, and pretty much with the thought of, bring people in here that can bring me business,
Yep.
but also make them look good while they're here.
I appreciate that.
So I always ask everybody on here, and a lot of the answers are pretty much the same because there's no way around hard work. What do you think the best thing that you've done last year, was in an effort to grow your business? What did you do?
I think ultimately it comes down to customer service. You do what's right for the customer, and they're going to give you referrals.
Right.
So I think doing right by the customer and giving the best possible service that we can, in turn causes those customers to tell their friends who tell their friends.
Right.
And most of our business comes from referrals.
Yep. That's, I think anybody will say it's, he, is a coach of mine, and he always is, telling me to find a whale, right? A whale referral. What is a whale? A whale is somebody that brings you 10 leads per year, right? And so if you can find one whale a week, that's 52 whales feeding you jobs.
Yep.
All you have to do is take care of them, and so little by little, we've been, creating these relationships with these people who, at the beginning, you never know what they're going to be, right? They could just be a one-time service, so it's important to treat them right. But, we have probably about 15 to 20 people who, really, obviously a personal phone call is obviously, really cool sometimes for people to hear that.
Oh, yes.
Have you guys got on the board of thank you cards for business, for customers and all that?
So we have it in the works to send those thank you cards and some Christmas cards,
right?
At the end of the year, just to say a nice little thank you for staying with us.
Yeah, no, it's important. Who are some of your what side of town is the biggest customers for you?
So right now it's going to be the north side, Oro Valley, and the east side.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't really do Green Valley or Sahuarita much?
We have a couple of customers, a handful of customers out there, but that's not the bulk of our business now.
So on a daily trip for a technician, are you unfortunately having to go across town back and forth sometimes, or is it pretty nice to kind of get a good route?
Yeah, for the most part, we've been able to build our route schedule where we are in one geographical area for the day.
Right.
Obviously, some things come up midday that kind of throw a curveball at us.
Right.
And, we might have to drive a little bit further than what we were intending to. But for the most part, we stay in the same area.
Right. And so if you, in a perfect world, you have one technician now, and ideally another one starting, what type of schedule are these people looking at?
We'll start early in the morning and then probably go till hopefully about noon.
Okay.
The work that we're doing, we would like to get out of the sun as early as possible.
Right.
During the peak of the summer. So that's the goal: is start early, get done by noon with the two-man team.
Okay. And would they each have their own vehicle? Or
they would ride together.
Oh, they would ride together. Okay. And they would each have backpack sprayers?
Correct.
Is that how you operate?
Yes.
It's all backpack spray?
Yes.
No tank mounted trucks?
We have tanks in the truck. That's where we get our product from.
Okay, so you use it as a storage
Correct.
holder.
Yes.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do the same thing. We just recently got our second truck up and going, and it's been sitting around. The tank's been sitting there for a year. But same thing with you, right? New company. We were like, well, I'd rather have more customers than more sprayers.
Exactly.
So I just was using one truck as more of a landscaping truck. And recently, we've been able to accomplish a lot with just one truck and one big trailer. And through all of our marketing efforts and referrals and hopefully giving good, customer service, has been the reward of getting so many new spraying customers to where I'm thinking, last month, we need to get this other truck going. And so we put the tank in. I still haven't hooked up the battery powered hose reeler in. The hose reeler inner.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know a chance. I got a golf tournament this week. I'm going to be ripped, dude.
Yes, you will.
But it feel good. So I'm like out there like, I don't go to the gym. I don't work out, but who else is doing this?
Exactly.
Who's rolling up 250 foot of hose in 3 minutes? This guy, and then I'm walking, right? Cause we're doing applications like you are. So we're walking the properties. And, one thing that I want to bring up real quick that's super cool about your business and mine is those impromptu customers, right? The hey, Josh, you're spraying their house. What about mine, right? They're right next door.
Yep.
Hopefully the tank isn't empty because we're coming over there right away.
Yep.
There's an easy phone call to be made to the next customer in line saying, hey, we're going to be about 25 minutes later than expected because we're going to make another $85.
Yep.
Right. And so like your service and mine, neighborhood home.
So the goal, we want to aim for about 15 minutes. So if we're anywhere between 15 to 25, then that's okay.
And are you doing a full treatment of the yard, or do you just do around the base of the house? How does it work?
So it's going to be around the perimeter, focusing on the foliage primarily, and then it is front yard and backyard. And then depending on the interior, we'll treat the foliage in the interior. We'll also treat the foundation of the home because, like we mentioned briefly earlier, is it not only will take care of mosquitoes, but it'll also take care of spiders, ticks, fleas, ants, scorpions, the works. There's a list of like 65 different insects that it'll take care of.
One product. Whole company is based on one product.
Yes.
The Mosquito Squad.
Yes.
That's amazing. Who created the product?
Mosquito Squad. It was started in 2005, and it's actually kind of a unique story. It started back east with a couple of guys who started a lighting company, an outdoor lighting company, and it was in Virginia. And they quickly found out when they were outside installing, after a job, they want to be there in the evening so they can see their work with the house lit up.
Right.
And they were just getting eaten alive by mosquitoes.
Looking at the end project.
Yeah, right. Looking at the end project, and they thought to themselves, there has to be a way to protect ourselves other than just dousing ourselves in a repellent. And putting DEET on our skin. And so they looked into it, and they found out that it didn't exist. There was no such thing as mosquito control in around the time of 2005. So they were actually the creators of mosquito control, and they started Mosquito Squad. And from there, it exploded.
That's awesome. So when you go to a backyard and you're doing a treatment and you see that they have like irrigation, do you just spray around the box?
Is where there's either moisture or the potential for moisture. So those areas are definitely things we're looking out for. A lot of homes we find have irrigation that either isn't installed properly or over time causes a buildup or it's leaking.
Right.
So we definitely want to focus on those areas, and then also any shaded areas as well.
Right. Does it hurt grass?
No.
Nope. Doesn't hurt plants?
Nope.
Wow. That's super cool. Mosquito Squad. Virginia.
It's a catchy name.
It is. When I was talking with my wife, I'm like, yeah, I saw that guy last year. It was at this thing, and she's like, yeah, no, it wasn't. And I'm like, yeah, it was. So what color are your trucks? Do you have your personal truck, and did you logo it up, or what's the deal there?
Yep. So it's green with you can't mistake it. It's got our, I guess you call it a mascot of some sort, Dread Skeeter. Dread Skeeter is kind of the face of the company.
Dread Skeeter?
Yep. So it's on our work trucks, and then I also have my personal truck.
Nice.
With the wrap on it.
Nice. So I know you have a full-time job too. We're not going to talk about that, but I know you're working hard. What's what's your game time like? How do you fit this in with having a full-time job?
Yeah, it's definitely rough. It's a juggle, but thankfully I have a lot of support, with family, my wife. We are making it work, and it's going great. And
you have a little shop, right?
Yes.
You have a facility that you keep all your products at and all that good stuff?
Off 22nd.
Okay, nice. So you're east side.
Yep.
So you're east side, but a lot of your customers are north side.
Correct.
I mean, it is what it is. I guess our customers are all over the place.
Yep.
We have a job we're doing for a guy who he's in a wheelchair, and he installs these, train tracks for your home to take people that can't walk from the bed to the bathroom.
Oh,
right. And from the bed to the sink and wherever, so he's obviously taking advantage of his hand that was dealt. And, he has this awesome property that he put, quarter minus gravel on. They got all firm so he can wheel around and his kids can ride their bikes. But the weeds just got out of control. And, so it was one of the biggest weed jobs we've ever had up until this point. And he was a great guy. What a cool dude. He found us on Home Advisor, right, through Googling.
Okay.
And, he wanted to make sure that Home Advisor didn't get that lead fee, right? He called us personally rather than going through the Home Advisor loop.
Oh, that's
right?
Nice. Someone who knows how it works.
Yeah, and it's like I had to tell him thank you and make sure he understands how much I mean it, right? Because $16 every job is gets old, right? We've been lucky enough to have our Home Advisor leads on pause. I don't know if you've done any type of lead providing services, but what we first did was Home Advisor and BNI, right? We did the BNI group, and that was great. We did a year in that, and we've briefly spoken about it, and it's obviously a very and I would never have any regrets about doing it, but every week I don't have to go right now and I can do whatever I want. I feel good. I'm not going to lie. 4 days a week, right? I was a golf course guy and I worked from the time I was 18 till, 20, 31, 30, every other weekend off. And that's cool too. But, let's face it, people are still going to call in on that Sunday they have to work.
Yep.
Right. So I thought, how about let's try not to spend as much money as we can on payroll, and B, let's give these people something to look forward to. Work one more day than you have off. What a concept. It's like an Australian mindset, right? Live to work, not work to live.
Exactly.
I saw this video one time about that, how the Australian people, they just found our lives.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
There's a lot less to do if you're living in Virginia and there's mosquitoes everywhere. You want to go inside.
You want to stay inside, yep. Unless you call them mosquitoes.
The trucks are locked up and it's like, I still work on Fridays. I go do a few spray jobs and, new customer, whatever, acquisition, some marketing things, golf, right? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Haven't golfed on a Friday in a long time. But what type of week do you have, man? What's your day that you're like, whoo, done?
So usually Saturdays and Sundays.
Right.
Yeah. We'll go Monday through Thursday strong.
What type of time frame? Obviously, we just talked about taking advantage of those quick customers, but let's say somebody calls you and, they live in Green Valley and you got jobs scheduled on the north side all week. What's your plan of action there? How do you, fit it in?
There have been many times when we'll get those calls, those unique situations, and Saturday morning, drive out there and say hello. I like to meet as many new customers as I can, just so, one, I have that introduction. Two, I can make...
Before I forget to ask, what is the service you offer? Is it monthly, bi-monthly?
So we go out on a 3-week schedule. So every 21 days, our technicians will go out and we'll treat the property. Okay. Yep.
And so is it a price like, between $50 to $100 or $75 to $150, or how do you break the price down to people?
So typically between $50 to $100. It all depends on the size of the property. So we go off of acreage. So depending on how big their property is, that's how we're going to structure our pricing.
And you charge monthly or per trip?
Per trip.
Per trip.
Yeah.
Right. That makes sense.
Every 3 weeks. Yeah.
Yep. The more we, I don't want to call it a mistake, but one thing that I'm going to kind of jump around. I get a lot of thoughts in my brain, dude, and I just want to say it all, right? But, there's one thing that if anything, I remember from a lot of people on internet, you know, whether it's Gary Vee or these successful business owners, right? It's like, pick your customers, right? Don't let your customers pick you. I mean, that could be taken a lot of different ways, but for what I'm getting at is we have grass and, well, you need to mow the grass twice a month, right? So you got to go out twice a month. Yeah. How much is it? It's this amount. We're trying not to do that. We're trying to either, it's going to be this much out per trip, rather than it's this much per month. They pay one time, we go twice. We're not really, you know, the passion's not there, right? Because it's now becoming like I got to remember to go do our second trip for them.
You've built a subscription.
Yeah. So the more I can avoid that, the more I can avoid potential problems, right? Because we're getting customers that we want rather than getting tasks that we're kind of trying to like not forget about. Yeah. Right. The more we can not forget about people, the better. And that's the scary thing for me is like, you know, like you said, I go out on Saturdays. I mean, dude, the phone doesn't stop ringing. The phone just keeps ringing on Sundays, right? Sunday, 5 p.m. People are calling. It's like, don't you look at the Facebook, folks?
Right.
It says we're closed on the weekends. You know, look at the Facebook. No. So it's always funny to, you know, to see some people like, we got this lead today.
Yeah,
you know,
perfect.
for you to be so strong about your liking towards me. And she said, I just used Home Advisor and saw all the reviews. And I'm like, thank God for those people. And they put those reviews.
Exactly.
Because I am not a review person. I'm not doing surveys. I'm not doing it. Yeah. You know, this is not me. Right. So for the people that are out there that do that, God bless you. And thank you for the ones that have given us a review. A good one. Do you guys have a Facebook? You do,
yep,
right?
We do.
And it's your personal one.
No, it's a business.
But I mean, like, it's not the corporate. It's like directed towards you, or how does that work?
So it's through corporate. It's from corporate, but it's localized to the Tucson area.
So if somebody goes on and sends a message, it'll just like link to you in a sense, or how?
No, so they would go to the Mosquito Squad Tucson Facebook page.
I see. Yeah. Okay. And then do you guys, does your application result in a picture of any sort? Like, is there any type of like, because you die if I don't have to?
Yeah.
I'm a really good applicator. I don't skip anything, but in my business, it makes a lot of sense to have some sort of color, right? So people can see and they maybe can avoid that. Hey, what about that spot? If it's blue, well, then you don't have to ask.
Yep. So I think for us, it's the... Before they called us, they were eaten alive, and then they go out in their backyard that evening, and they kind of get a sigh of relief of, wow, we can actually stay out in our backyard.
Right.
You know, so that for us is kind of how they know, okay, yep, Mosquito Squad's been here, it's working, we love it.
That's cool.
Yep.
And so do you use some sort of like a CRM for your customers to give you a reminder? Because every 3 weeks, obviously, it comes quick.
Yep, we have a system that's provided from corporate. Okay, you know, that allows us to manage everything customer related.
Nice.
Yep.
That's obviously huge. I'm obviously corporate offices, and we ran the business out of the world headquarters for a while, which is, we're glad to have the mailman's mailbox free from there.
Yeah.
But things that maybe you were provided, we've tried to do our best to, provide that for our staff and for our company. We actually went out and had a company handbook written, like not just one from like some, stereotypical, this is how employees are treated. We actually did it ourselves, had a lot of like, custom literature in there based on what I think is, makes sense, for staff, for them to realize what they're giving, what they're getting, what's expected of them. But we also, we're just super, I guess, proud and never stopped working about our marketing efforts, right? We've created where we made those pop sockets, right? So have you seen our commercial on the TV?
I haven't. No.
You haven't? So yeah, we offer the pop sockets to all new customers. The staff has them on the trucks.
Well,
right?
I have to. What's a pop socket?
So the pop sockets are the things on the back of your phone, right? So
okay.
Yeah, so you can like hold it to take a selfie.
Gotcha.
So we have them with little stickers that go on a car, so you can like use it your phone as a GPS rather than holding it or whatever. Just another option. So we just were thinking of ways to, I hate to say it, but be the Gettle of landscaping, right? Like everybody knows that if Gettle gives flashlights.
Oh, there's a socket one.
Yeah, so pop sockets, right? Get a pop socket from Poppy obviously is way better marketing than a flashlight.
Yep.
Flashlight doesn't rhyme with Gettle, but pop socket does rhyme with Poppy. And my daughter's a cute little girl. So, things like, how do these people on the crew know when they're getting in trouble, right? These whole like building blocks. Are you ready for that to have 3 or 4 people come in to work every day?
I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready. Well, I say I'm ready, but that's yet to be seen.
Right. Now I know in the next several years you're looking to do this full time, right?
Yep.
Yes. And that's because you're going to be retiring.
Yes.
Right, from the sheriff's department.
Yes.
So I mean, what to do?
Yep.
When is the timeline?
Let's see. I think 7 years left.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got a little bit of time.
You got a little bit of time.
Yeah. I don't find a lot of my coworkers needing the service.
Right. Yeah. We're lucky enough to do some bartering with a gentleman that was in our B&I group who does pest control, and it seemed to work. We had those sticky pads put down, and man, on Spidey.
Exactly.
So, what's next for the mosquito school? No contract.
No contract.
That's
so
good.
They'll start service with us. They can cancel anytime for any reason. We don't believe in kind of luring people and then trapping them into something that they can't get out of.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And obviously that's probably encouraging for them because it is a luxury service.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be trapped into something if you don't have to be.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you were saying that you ideally work till 12, right? Ideally. So how many applications? You say 15 minutes, so you can get done maybe 3 an hour, or maybe 4 if they're really close.
Yeah, it all depends on the routing, for that day. So we're looking anywhere between probably 10 to 15, in a full day's work.
Right. So I know I mentioned a little bit ago our commercial. We actually were lucky enough to be featured in this television show that comes on Fox 11 at 10 p.m. It was on last Saturday, and the episode continues this Saturday. We do a yard cleanup with the host of the show. He plays a British gardener named Nigel Pendleton.
Oh, okay.
And he worked for the Royal Garden and for the Queen. Wow. And had a horrible accident, which got him. He lost his job, and he doesn't like to talk about it much. But it's really a funny show, and I would definitely encourage you to record it and watch it on your own time. But it comes on at 10 p.m. on Fox on Channel 11.
Okay, perfect.
So, but every week we have a commercial that airs. So do you guys have any marketing like that, out loud marketing, or is it just...
We haven't done any TV commercials, but we have been on the radio.
94.9 or what?
No, 94.9's their own.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think it's Kim and...
Do you guys have a way of tracking those customers that see that lead, or do you ask them?
Yeah, we use call tracking for all of our marketing. So we'll have different phone numbers for the different marketing pieces that we're putting out. Did
you have pretty good...
Continue.
And obviously a customer for you is ideally a customer for life, potentially, right?
That's the goal, yes. The type of problem that they're having, it could be more often, and that's a discussion that I would have with the homeowner.
Right.
If they have a neighbor that has a green pool and it's just breeding mosquitoes.
Right.
We do offer a platinum service, which is going out every 2 weeks.
Okay.
It is very rare. Typically, for most homes, we're able to control it with just a 3-week service.
Okay. Nice. And so is there anything that, when you go out to a home like dogs, pets, is there anything that people have to worry about?
Yeah, the only thing that we ask is that when we are treating the property, that all be outside and enjoy their yard like they normally would.
Does it have any smell?
No smell.
No smell? Just a blank, and it's just water mixed with this product, or is it a straight?
Yep.
Okay.
Just a water mixture.
Nice. Does it clog up your tank?
Nope.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Is it a liquid?
It's a liquid. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah.
I I've dealt with a lot of mixing of products, fertilizers over the years, and I tell you what, the easy ones are obviously the best ones to use. If you can get results with them, even better.
Yep, there's been a lot of trial and error from corporate, doing this for so many years that they've kind of developed a system. No, they provide direction on what to do and what manufacturers to go with.
Right.
But it's nothing that leaf blower.
Right.
And it's a leaf blower with a tank on the back that has the product, and it's blowing the air plus the product out, and it's dispensing the product.
So you have to pull it?
Yeah, it's gas powered.
Holy cow! I've always wanted to use those.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's what they spray trees and stuff with, I think, like fertilizer and pest control on trees. Exactly. So how far does it go?
So they've been rated at 50 feet.
50 feet?
50 feet. And, it obviously depends on other companies' use.
Right on. Yeah, the only reason I ask is because you're not pumping.
No.
It's running on gas. So you're kind of loud when you're rocking and rolling. People can hear you.
Yeah.
When we, obviously when I was working at the golf course before we started this company, I bought this sweet backpack sprayer. It was like 5 gallons, weighed like 65 pounds, right? So, nobody wants to wear it. That you fall over. So I had this in my cart and I'm spraying weeds and I'm thinking to myself, this is before I even was doing this as a business. Mm-hmm. And I thought, man, if I had 2 of these, I could kill it. I could make a lot of money doing this because this battery is going forever. So right when we got started, I bought 2 of those sprayers, but I got the 4.5 gallon ones because it's a little more doable. It fits better in the truck. And soon after I bought those, they actually stopped making that big. It was a 6 gallon backpack sprayer.
That could be heavy.
It's heavy, man. So we use, their Solo. This is the brand, and they have a little 9-volt battery in them, and flowers, a lot of plants. If it's kind of breezy, it's nicer to use, something that's a little more controlling than. We have pretty much the same thing as your backpack sprayer, gas powered sprayer that's blasting it out super, at high speeds. So it was super important for me to be like, if I need a backpack sprayer, I need to have the best one there is. We also use them to spray green paint on grass, right? Because some people don't put the winter seed down.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. So through my, we did a Facebook Live video a while back. Through my golf course experience, I know that if you don't overseed or if you do put the winter grass down, you can make it look even better by putting this turf pigment out that's like totally bio-friendly, pet-friendly, and it's an expensive product, but because it comes in 5-gallon jugs, but the dilution rate is super simple, and with these backpack sprayers with no pumping, I can just go spray a backyard and it's nice and even, because when you're pumping, it's great pressure at first, and then, unless you keep going, it dwindles down. So to be able to have that, effective application throughout, whether it's spraying for weeds or spraying green paint on grass, it's obviously encouraging to know that, you have something that's going to work.
Yeah. Now, does that stain your gear that you use too?
The green paint?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So typically we'll use like rubber boots that you get from Home Depot.
Yeah.
And just, when the applicator gets out of the car, they get on 2 pairs of gloves. We keep the gloves in the truck, hop out, put the boots on while you have your gloves on, go and either mix up or ideally we're already mixed up, right? And we go spray the house, come back. To always focus on and do is what's called a lean strategy. And have you ever heard of that?
No.
So Toyota uses it in their factories. It's called Toyota Lean, and it's an effort to make everything just automatic, right? Like when you're done with a wrench, put it back here, right? Well, I learned that from the owner of 49er Country Club, right? That's who told me about this, because he wanted our maintenance facility and the whole thing to be run smoother, right? When there's something wrong or something runs out, you buy more. Simple mindset. Well, I thought, how am I going to make the most money by doing the simple service, right? But if it is, that means other things are going on that shouldn't be, right?
Exactly.
We try to, with our techs, right now we have 1 technician out and myself that go out and spray, and we start them off at an hourly rate, but ideally how I want to move this person and future people that work with us in the spray tech position. I want to give them an incentive to go fast. I want to give them 8 jobs and pay them 10 hours and they get done in 7.
Yep.
Have a great day. I hope nobody calls, right? Because if they do, then we're going to have to rethink this and maybe go back to just paying you by the hour. And hey, where's the incentive there?
Yep.
There isn't one, so I'm trying to think of ways to customer we acquired are not promoting anything but every month service, right? And I know you have an every month service, and I'm not trying to knock any of that. How do you, and so I think by simply offering a service that's encouraging for the customer by only seeing us twice, maybe 3 times a year, it's more like it's an easier sale. Sure, the monthly fee is like $25-$30, but me as a business owner, because we're dealing with a variety of services offered, whether it's landscaping, hardscapes, weed control, we don't want to again get ourselves into those situations where we're forgetting. Or, we're a customer's losing importance, right? And so I just thought that, man, why wouldn't anybody want to pay 3 times a month or a year opposed to every month, So hopefully people hear this and they're like, yeah, Josh, they go to my website and the phone starts ringing and,
Yeah. No, I mean, that makes sense. I don't use a landscaper very often, but I did several months ago, and I was forgotten.
Right.
And this was just a one-time thing,
right,
where, hey, they said they would be here, and I'm sitting there sending text messages. Hey, I thought you were going to come.
Right.
And, I had to follow up several different times before they were like, oh yeah, we'll be there, at 6 a.m. on this day, before they actually showed up. So
yeah, it's hard, man. I mean, behind every great business is just some regular dude or woman, running it, trying to go to bed at night.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely that. How important is it to follow up with those people, right? And we've had a handful of customers that they weren't. I would say maybe they weren't mad, but maybe they had some expectations that weren't met or whatever it was.
For our new customers, we always offer an introductory rate.
Right.
So if they're a half acre or less property, it's a $49 introductory.
Okay.
And then if they're over half acre to an acre, then it's $59 introductory.
Okay. So that's the per 3 week fee.
Correct.
Right. And so then you're just simply, since you're no contracts, you're just simply following up with them. In about 2.5 weeks, roughly?
Yeah, so when we sign up new customers, we let them know that we will be coming out every 3 weeks, and we don't offer any contracts, or we don't require any contracts. So they'll go for the 3 weeks, week after week, and then if something comes up, a lot of times we'll have contracts. They get into a financial hardship. They either have to break the contract or, or suffer and pay.
Well, yeah, if you're a good person in negative times, people can see that, and when they're ready to go, they will. I actually got a phone call today from a customer that we had. Got it from a friend of mine who's a member at 49er Country Club, and we would go and spray this property, and twice a year, and we had just recently went over to this place and did like a free spot spray, right? Because I was driving by it and I saw that there was some weeds growing, and our 6-month service was going to be due for this week or next. Mm-hmm. And this was probably like 3 weeks ago. I just went on my own, and I had a new technician start, and so I figured it would be a good day to do a little training, right? Just drop her off and see what she can do, right? So we did that, and then last week I made the phone call, hey, just following up, see a company that's going to do it for free. And I said, well, hey, that's awesome.
Perfect.
Good for you. I thank you for everything that you've given us. And he started going off about, last time this happened, and it didn't work out because we got forgotten about and we weren't important. So, and I'm not part of the whole deal that chooses anymore. And I'm like, hey, it's okay.
Yep.
It's all right. If and when they don't do a good job, if you want to use our service again, this is my phone. I'm going to answer it. Thanks a lot. And so I have no doubt in my mind that I'll probably spray this property again in my life.
Yep. They'll be calling you.
So Robert, tell me a little bit more about how people can find you. Websites. Facebook is mosquitosquad.com/Tucson, or is that the website?
So the website is mosquitosquad.com/Tucson. We're on Facebook. It's at Mosquito Squad Tucson. And then we're on Instagram, Mosquito Squad of Tucson.
And these, do you have like some wicked mosquitoes on there? Like some up close personal pictures of mosquitoes? I would do that if I was
you. When that's a question we get all the time. Like, oh my gosh, you guys go into these mosquito infested areas and you just see swarm. For the most part, we don't, because they're on the underneath that we give to our technicians. We train them to know where the mosquitoes will be in that yard. So we don't see them. We just kill them.
Right. Real quick, where do people go to get mosquito training? Do they go to Mosquito Squad? Is that the only place to get it? I mean, because I've never had any mosquito training.
You can actually go to our website, and we do offer tips on how to help control mosquitoes in their own yard without the need for service. And we teach people it's the 7 T's: tip, toss, turn, tarps, take care, team up, and treat. So tip is look at your yard. Do you have any standing water? Tip it out, dump it out. Toss, do you have grass clippings? This is kind of with your business. This is where we kind of find a correlation where if they don't take care of their yard, they have grass clippings that are piled up and they just haven't had maintenance done in a while. Get rid of it, toss it out. Turn it over. If you have toys in your yard, that's really the biggest culprit. People leave like effective. A bottle cap worth of water is all a mosquito needs to lay eggs. So not very much water,
right?
So you kind of have to look and evaluate your property and get rid of all of the spots for standing water. Next, take care of your yard. If you have gutters that are clogged, obviously a big culprit. As soon as it rains, you're going to have standing water in your gutters. The next T is team up, which is talk to your neighbors. If your neighbors, like I mentioned, are hood. And then the last T, obviously, we have to throw in there is treat. Call the professionals. Call Mosquito Squad. If you've done everything, all the other 6 T's, and you still have mosquitoes, then it's time to call in the pros, and we'll take care of it for you.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. 7 T's?
7 T's, yeah. And that's, that's on our website. Though that's kind of some education that we provide to customers if, if they're not going to use our service, at least they can do things on their own.
Right. Yep. So provide value, get the rest, click it, done. And then if you, when you're done reading the 7 T's, you can go over to, look at the 7 P's at Poppy, the 3 P's at Poppy Yard Solutions. No, it was good to have you on the show today, Robert. Thanks for your time. Make sure you guys visit our website at poppyyards.com.